Hello everyone. We're starting again as we mean to go on with puppies. I don't know if you're here or if anyone can hear me, but we have puppies. And a yard full of weeds. There we go. And an unimpressed cat. Hello. Can you hear me all right? Is everyone okay this evening? Our garden, there we go, has not been done since last time and is now a jungle. But I've seen a whole bunch of people online saying this is good because it helps the nature and it helps the bees for sure because they're having a fine old time. The bees are loving all of this, which was flower beds once, and yeah, there was lawn under here once as well, but puppies happened and this is where the puppies run. So we have a tree that the cat likes, but unfortunately I think is due for a chop down because it hasn't budded this year, which is no good. But there we go. I'm loving the sun through the leaves this evening. Oh, hello America. That seems amazing. It's evening in Derbyshire. And I'm being wanted again by these two. Ah dear. So, how is everyone? Is everyone all right? Happy Solstice, yeah. It's been a crazy day. Look at this face. This is Rags with his ball, and this is Fen. And it being Father's Day, Fen is the dad, and Rags is the son. So, yeah, but they're not getting a play right now. So, let's see if this works. Hello. There we go, hello. I'm always looking at the screen. I don't think you can hear me, other way around, I don't think I can hear you, but I can read what you're saying on the screen. So, that's how to communicate with me. Otherwise, yeah, this isn't so much a back and forth chat. Oh, this is me talking and you generally responding on the text. So, yeah. Hello. Oh, it's lovely to see everyone's names. It's been too long. It seems like it's been forever in lockdown. It is so good to see everyone. This is where I was this morning, featuring Jim's Warhammer White Dwarf collection behind me, as featured on the BBC. Here's the nice setup which I had previously. Hold on, let's see if I can turn this round. There we go. I was made this gorgeous pentacle. Hold on, let's do this. There we go. Oh, and the phone shouted at me, it doesn't like that. But yes, it's a gorgeous pentacle with autumn leaves. And some shawls. Which was supposed to be on camera but didn't manage. Oh, hello America, hello Dundee, hello Sussex. Waiting for this pile of magazines to tumble onto the floor. They've been there for ages, I think they're glued. And you have the Beano, because we like charity shops. So this is I don't think we saw this last time, but these are the windows in our sunroom, which are what completely sold us on this house, because they're gorgeous. And they overlook my little desk here, which is a mess, but this is my little workspace. And this is still true. My desk, my rules. So yeah, this is working space for me. And as I've said before, there's so much on here which has been gifted to me. The Lego is from Kirsty, who is here. The stress meditation ball is from Jess. Candles from Asda. There's many things, and I get this lovely view out onto the crazy wild garden. And this morning I was sitting here, like this, just watching the garden, waiting for the telly people to come on, and there was 2 robins having a play. So we have the tree, you see the kitten romping around, but there's so many birds and things. There was 2 male robins having a play, and it was amazing because it's so wild out there. Hello, there you go again. Yeah, it's so wild out there, it's so messy that my family would go crazy and say, you must tidy it and must mow it, but I like it, it's wild. And the birds love it and the bees love it, and presumably the bats love it because we haven't had many small insects around, so presumably they're getting nommed. Hello. Oh goodness me. I will never get used to this. This is not my normal thing. And I looked at Dave the Bard's last concert and there was over 1,000 people watching. And I don't know how he does it. He's used to it because he's a performer, I guess. But there's 23 people and that still seems crazy. But yeah. So, what do you want to talk about? For those of you who've never seen me before a talk, as in a public talk on a stage, I'll run around for a good half hour to a couple of hours beforehand saying, oh God, what am I doing? What am I talking about? And people say, I've come to see your talk, and I'll go, I hope I'm good. And they think I'm joking, which I'm not. And a little while ago I was running around going, what am I talking about? What am I doing? Because last time was kind of a trial run to see if people were even vaguely interested in me blathering on. And this time, I think we wanted a bit more focus. So, it's lovely to see everyone, and it's lovely to hear all your kind words. It really is. But let's see. Intriguing clutter. There, yeah, okay. I've not got mess. I've got intriguing clutter. I love it. There's so much intriguing clutter, and piles of things that I have to do. But yes, so. Dear, go with the flow. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I don't. This is the stuff that I think would have been great on the BBC, but they would never broadcast because it's contentious. And I did say some of it to the researcher yesterday, and she was loving it, she was enjoying it, and we discussed how Dominic Cummings is a lying what's name and that sort of thing. But it's the fact that we're here at the solstice, and this is the halfway point of the year, essentially. And whether it's winter or summer solstice, I think we're only going to have this hemisphere. So I think it's just going to be the summer folks here today. I don't think there's any Australians up yet, but say hi if you are. We're at the halfway point, and what they asked me was, what does the solstice mean? What does the solstice mean to me? And I had to stop and think, because you've got your normal answers. I'm going to try and put this down so that I can talk properly. a tripod. Apologies for camera. I hope no one gets sick, because I hate that. Right, there we go. That's a bit better. Oh, more white. There we go. There we go, BBC pose. The eclipse, I didn't even know there was an eclipse till last night. I think it's amazing. Oh, sorry for motion sickness, that's why I was trying to stand this up. Hopefully it'll say still now. Hello. What does the solstice mean? Normally it would mean that we're taking stock of the last 6 months and we're considering how far we've come and what our plans have done, how they've come to fruition. So the plans that we put into our hearts in, well, sort of Samhain and Yule, I guess, and Imbolc, how they're starting to sprout in the spring and then they come out to fruition now. And I don't think anyone's plans saw this coming, did they? And our nice little comfortable wheel of the year has been knocked, and it's not in a way anyone's experienced before, so we're all kind of feeling our way along. And so this solstice, I'm looking back over the last 6 months and thinking, I want to celebrate that we're here, that all of us here are here and we're well and we're managing. But there are a lot of people who aren't here because they weren't well and they didn't manage. Can I explain what I just said? Which bit? I will, don't worry. Samhain is the point where we kind of look over the last year just gone and then we move forward for me. So by this time we've got all of our plans bearing fruit. This is kind of entering the harvest. But I think the plans that we had sort of devolved into all the lockdown jokes about making banana bread and learning things and doing whatever we could while we were shut in. So if that's come to fruition, then great, you know, that's really good. I have knitted a sweater. I've knitted my first sweater during lockdown. Lovely. I'm really pleased with it and I want to do another one. But I can't wear it yet because it's too hot. So there you go. But the point I'm trying to get to is that this is a point of balance. And I've often said in public rituals that turning points like this at the festivals, I feel like we're on a seesaw. I feel, you know, a teeter-totter in America. So you're sort of here, but you can go that way, you can go that way. We're literally sort of trying to keep balance. So if this was the seesaw, we would be here and we would be trying not to knock it one way or the other. But that way's the past and that way's the future. And it's going to happen. Yeah, we're the fulcrum, exactly that. It's that tipping point. We're sort of pausing on this festival day to take stock and then move forward, and we can't really take stock because we don't really know what's happened, really, I don't think, and we're moving forward into an even more unknown place. We don't even know when we're allowed out to hug each other yet. So this is a solstice like no other. But on the other hand, we've got the sun still rose and it's setting, well, it's going over the other side now, and it's lovely on my face. Hello, Fen. Look at this face. Hold on, I must show you. There we go. Look at this face. I have this face. This is my view when I'm working usually. And they now want to play, so he's going to go outside and try and get me to play. Oh dear. But yeah. it's an unusual situation to be in, and I think we are dealing with it day to day, as people are with their health, with their physical health, their mental health. And in the last few days, I've heard some bad news about friends and people who've come to me for help because of bad news. And while we have the COVID virus, the other total bastard viruses and illnesses are still going on. So we still have the HIV related virus, we have cancer, we have so much bad stuff that I just want to punch because it ruins lives. And I'm so glad of the scientists who are trying to find how to fix all of those. But those are still happening. People are still sick. And I'm seeing more of a immediate balance between light and dark, between sickness and health, between able to do all these amazing plans and just being able to get out of bed in the morning and just being able to manage and survive and keep breathing one after the other. And we're seeing we're seeing all of the Black Lives Matter, we're seeing all of the Pride, it was Mental Health Month last month. We are crossing all of these times which aren't just for 1 month really, are they? They're for all of us, for all time. And change is happening so fast and so hard. And I think that's a good thing, but it's also a fearsome thing because it's scary. It's absolutely scary. A lot of people are having to shake up their views on the world. And I think that's good because those views have been in place for too long and they need shaking. So we're looking back on our traditions. We're looking back longer than 6 months. We're looking back years, centuries. Whatever we need to dig up and put aside so that we can replant and rediscover, and it's scary. It's absolutely scary. But we're here. And I said to the BBC researcher yesterday that she asked for all my titles. I have many. We settled for pagan priest and author, and then I found out I was speaking on BBC opposite King Arthur. So I'm glad I didn't say druid, because he looks like what a druid should look like, and I don't. Which I rather like. But a secret druid. It's the fact that I can't seem to stay away from volunteering for pagan organisations. And I'm currently the interfaith manager for the Pagan Federation, because a lovely person who was doing that job couldn't do that job. Yes, I am Pooh Bah. I am Lord High Everything. I don't want to be Lord High Everything. God, there's so many egos in the pagan community. I don't want to be one. I've said it. Smack me if I ever get like that. Please, 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 please. But I'm interfaith manager, which means I've been dropping notes to the Derby Multi-Faith Centre, which is on Derby University here in this little corner of the world. And I'm talking to other people from other counties who are trying to start stuff up again, because all of the faith communities are trying to help help their communities, but help the secular communities too, just help their localities. I'm being given new titles now. It's the thing of what can we do? And yes, I'm using my privilege as a voice in the pagan community. I'm doing what I can. I'm doing the best I can. And I said to someone earlier, whenever I'm raising my voice publicly, I'm always aware of you guys. It's as if I've got this comments ticker in my head or an audience in front of me. I've got you all listening. And yeah, okay, people will be judging me, for sure, because that's what we do. But on the other hand, people are watching and listening, so what am I saying that's good, that's worth hearing? if you know what I mean. So I am now being asked to stand up at this point in the year and speak to the public. And what do I say? But then I am asked to speak to the pagan community. So in my column in Pagan Dawn and in my blog and everything else. I've had so many people come to me in the last few months and say, help, I'm a new pagan, I've come out, I've discovered that this is really what I want to do. Can you help me? There's too much information. And I'm totally happy to help. I see people saying, oh, you should do your own research, you shouldn't bother others. I am quite happy to be bothered. It's not a problem. And you lot are all lovely. I'm not answering individual comments because it will sound weird on the YouTube when it's played back, but you guys are so wonderful, and this is the thing, I couldn't do this if I didn't have everyone supporting me. I just could not do it. I haven't got the strength. And because everyone encourages me and cheers me on, it makes me think that it's something worth doing. So I think that helps keep the ego under control as well. I'm more inclined to be silly. Apologies, Rags is being growly because I'm not playing. Yeah, so I'm working with interfaith. I'm working with random individuals around the world who message me and say help, because each person has to discover their own path, but it's my job to help them through guiding them. And if I'm making myself understood, then I'm succeeding, and if I'm just spuffing out everything that the Paganism 101 books say, then that's not helpful. It's what that individual wants, it's what they need to hear, it's where they are, it's what they understand. So this is why I try and do one-to-one work rather than general information. And this is the thing, I love to support people, I really do. I think we should. And at times like this, when we all sort of get a front row seat in the world, if people know pagans or witches or druids or whatever, oh, it's a solstice, isn't that a special time for you? You know, which is great. And the responses I generally get are positive. I've had really positive responses from our neighbours, which is awesome. But it's great. But it's hard work, because if you look at all the protests and you look at all the arguments, you can see the sides, and there's people wanting things to be very black and white, as it were. And it's not just black and white, it's black and white and brown and all the other colours. It's so many people. It's the colours of the rainbow, it's the colours of the pride flag. Everyone has their story, and my point, as I've often said, my druidry comes from story, and it's telling stories, it's sharing stories, and that's it. It's never a bother to be asked something which will help you explore your own story, because the internet has so much information, but each bit is right for whoever wrote it, and some of them might not be speaking truthfully. They might be speaking from an ego place that makes them sound big or authoritative. If I don't know something, I'll say so. Believe me. And I'll say, oh, I don't know, tell me about it, what do you mean? And we're moving past colour in the sense of black and white, good and bad. I'm thinking carefully what I'm saying, and not as not to offend, but to express what I mean. Yes, I am completely behind Black Lives Matter. I'm completely behind the rainbow flag, my transgender friends. I'm completely with you. I will stand with you. I will take a knee with you. I will listen to your stories, and in order for people to share how I can best help, I have to listen. I have to step back and listen and shut up. But then, as I say, when I'm called upon to talk as an authority on pagan stuff. I have to say what will help, and that's the challenge. And we're here at this point of balance, which I don't think exists in any of the main faith festivals. I might be wrong because I don't know them all, but in the Christian calendar, which I grew up with, which we generally in England grew up with, my family are Church of England, it's the thing of festivals equals days off school or work and presents or family time or stuff like that. You're not really looking at the circle of life. I'm not going to start singing. It's not being looked at in relation to everything else. And I think every pagan festival has to do that, because everyone is in relation to the ones before it and behind it. Before it, you know what I mean. The ones that came before, the ones that are yet to come. And it's like the next festival is Lammas or Lunasa, and we'll be looking at harvest, and people will be going, oh, it's harvest time, yeah, fantastic food, blah, 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 blah. No, this year's harvest is going to be weird. It's going to be like that picture in The Wicker Man of just one girl and a couple of boxes of fruit. The harvest is going to be, hopefully, holding to account those authorities that have let us down. People who've let us down. And I don't mean stringing them up, I mean holding them to account, saying, right, do you know what you did? How are you going to fix this? What are you doing? My key phrase. And whether that is local government making change, whether it's national or international government making change, it's about us as individuals making change and listening and speaking our stories and considering what we want. Do we want fast fashion and fast food? You've seen all the giant queues outside McDonald's when it reopens. It's a flipping McDonald's. Oh goodness, people are weird. All the queues outside Primark. And I know it's kind of learned behaviour because it's what we're used to, and we're going back to normality. It's back to what keeps us comfortable, and we think everything will feel all right again if we do these normal things. Bet they didn't. Just because you can buy pants in Primark does not mean that life is back to normal at all. And yeah, harvest can be bitter if it's a poor harvest. I have no idea what the farmers are going through right now. Ours around here seem to be busy all the time, so I think they're trying to do what they can, possibly with less hands than usual. It's strange, it's unusual, but we are still here. I've said often that apathy is not an option, and I've been not shouted at, but I've been told, oh, but we can't do everything. I know we can't do everything. I don't have spoons most days. If you don't know spoon theory, look it up on Google. It's very relevant. It's about energy levels. We do what we can, and if that means listening to other people's stories, or reading other people's books, or listening to their music, or watching their movies, because you're too ill or fragile or debilitated to do much more, then okay, that's something. It's still something. If you're able to get out and get involved in some way, then do that. If you're able in the course of your job to make a difference to other people, then do that. By all means. There's actually a few people on this thread with EDS or fibro and various things, and it's so fun to me that everyone, well, fun's not the wrong word, but it's nice that people can say, this is my diagnosis, this is what I have, and this is the changes in life I had to make around that, rather than the doctors think I'm a hypochondriac and I'm faking it all. It's wonderful that we can say, right, here's me, here's my diagnosis, here's what it means. I'm what was the one, Kirsty? It was on the spectrum, so I'm running Linux where the rest of the world's running Windows, which I think is awesome. It's just a different perspective, it's a different running system, and Linux has less viruses, I understand. So there you go. There we go. Everyone's got something. We all have our stuff to deal with. We all do. Not in the pagan community, very few of us are well off. We support each other. We're gradually getting over that thing of, oh, you can't ask for money for your work, which is just, if you're doing anything spiritual, you can't ask for money because that's wrong and unethical, and the universe will provide. The universe provides me with people who need help, and I ask for donations. It's equal energy exchange, and it keeps me going. It keeps me going. And I'm able to do things for people. A lot of people in the past few weeks have asked me for help and have said, I can't afford to give you anything except my thanks at this point because I'm furloughed, I'm sick, whatever reason. Someone's about to have chemotherapy that I know. I'm not going to suddenly say, sorry, the door's shut because you're not paying me. I'm not that. No way. But that's why I'm so glad of things like Patreon and Ko-Fi things, sending coffee. It's every little counts, and as we step up, our communities step up with us, I think. And whereas before paganism was a little bit woolly and a little bit airy-fairy and a bit crystals and incense and the stuff of it all, light a candle, thoughts and prayers. We still do that, I'm pretty sure, but if it helps focus, great. But in the meantime, what are we doing? What are we doing in our lives? What are we doing with our words? What are we doing with our wallets? How are we spending our money? I think apart from food shopping, my expenditure over the last few months of lockdown has mostly been on small businesses because it's helping them to stay alive. And most of them, because they're yarn related for me, most of them are mothers with families whose kids are off and they're trying to work while keeping the kids amused and schooled and so forth. And it's, oh my goodness, the hard work going on during this lockdown, it's not lazy. People aren't just lying around in bed or watching Netflix. They're really not. All of my events for this year have been cancelled. They've all been moved to next year. And that's fine. I'd rather people stay safe, goodness. But on the other hand, I'm having to figure out what to do to help bring in some money. Himself is currently studying for his paramedic degree, which is amazing. It helps that he is able to get lectures from home. So he goes upstairs to his little office and does his lectures and is studying. And all around the toilet there is revision notes which have been laminated and stuck up on the wall by the loo. But it means he's not getting quite as much money as previously. He will do when it's done, but until then, we get on, and this is the thing. And I put myself out there because I know it helps. And the good people give back and share back, and people have sent me money for a new bra or money for new jeans, or, you know, things like that, practical stuff. And it makes such a difference. It makes me want to cry, and I get these little messages and these little parcels of goodness. It's wonderful. And we are starting to discover what our community can do and how powerful our community can be in supporting each other and sending virtual hugs and just speaking to each other. As I say, I keep coming back to stories. This is my thing. This is my touchstone. We come back to looking out for each other and looking out for our virtual neighbours, I'd say, because it's, while we've got our physical, geographical neighbours, we've got, how many of you are all around the world? You know, it's bonkers. I want to travel to America so I can see all of my friends out there. I want to travel to Australia to see my friends out there. But in the meantime, we have this technology. We have this fantastic thing which, even if, 10, 20 years ago, if we'd all been locked down, it would be so different, because we'd be having that horrible dial-up thing, or we wouldn't have the internet at all, and we'd be on the phones or just watching one of the 4 channels to see information. I don't know. It wouldn't be as easy. I think we have a tremendous gift in the technology that we have. I'm not getting into the politics of Black Lives Matter right now, because I am a white woman and it's not my story, but I am standing there and I'm listening and I am doing my best to help as I can. I feel so sad looking at America right now, because some of you know, but my degree is in English and American Studies, and people say, what's American Studies? It's like, it's the study of America. I lived out there for a month years ago, and I love the spirit of America, that is generous and welcoming and exploring and cheering each other on and being so proud. And I mean proud in a good way. I was there for the 4th of July and it was absolutely wonderful. Even though we were crazy British kids, everyone welcomed us and took us in. And at that point, the British were kind of standoffish. That's changed a bit, I think. But now I see all of the pain out there and I want to run and help. I literally want to go and get on a plane and run and help. But I can't, so I do what I can from here. And yes, we are all humans, but we all have our own spirit. We have the spirit of this land that I call home. And then America, I felt that spirit, I felt that wildness. Stepping outside of the urban centre into this sudden wilderness that we visited, and there was little carts by the roadside selling rabbit skins for $1 and things like that. And we don't have that over here at all. We have nothing like that. America is still so wild. And I've been seeing it lately in movies. I watched The Witch, and I've watched the recent Blair Witch Project and things like that. And the wildernesses of America are wonderful and magical and powerful and terrifying. And I love that land so much. And I think, I sincerely hope that America comes out well from all of this pain. But I'm not getting too into that. As I say, it's about balance, and I think the balance is skewed the wrong way. In America, it's clear because you have people on the streets because they've had enough, and that's totally understandable. Over here, we've had people on the streets for years, and the government's been ignoring it because our government is idiotically out of touch. And I hope that some people who are good will enter politics to try and make change and not get squashed down. But in the meantime, the rest of us who don't want to touch that with a barge pole are out here in our communities. And as I say, it's saying, what do you need? How can I help? And if people can help by sending little parcels, that's wonderful. That can be the biggest gift of just reaching out in that way. If someone sends a text every morning saying, how are you doing, to a friend who's in a bad way, and just sends silly little jokes or something, which I have been doing over the past few weeks for a friend. And yeah, I'm worried and I'm scared and the world is crazy. But as I say, apathy is not an option. We cannot check out. We cannot say, oh, I'm shutting the door and not talking about it. We cannot do that. We cannot. We need to stand up for our friends and our neighbours and those whose houses are on fire. Because you would help, wouldn't you? I think we've whinged a lot over the past 20 years. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, this such and such a year is really bad. I hope nothing will ever be that bad. Like, yeah, right, okay, here we are. I hope this is the kick in the butt that we need. I hope this is the tipping point in that balance to help us be more active and to be more caring and to be more doing. Sitting in a shrine in Japan sounds wonderful, but why not have shrines over here too? You know, safe places. And in Derby, I don't know if it's still going, but before the lockdown, in Derby there was a bus which would be in the town centre on sort of Friday, Saturday night times for mental health needs. And it would deal with drunk people, because inevitably they'd find a double-decker bus with lights on and go, what? But it's for people who were in crisis walking the streets, or who just needed to get out and talk to someone. And it was a mental health bus. And that's safe space, isn't it? And I want to say to people, I'm here. I might always not I might not be able to talk. My degree's in English. I might not always be able to answer right away, but I will answer. And if all of us stood up and said that, we will be here, we will stand, we will help, we will listen, we will do what we can. And I think we can change the world. We really can. And it's that each festival we are reminded how as pagans we have that power. We are empowered by our connection. We're empowered by our connection to each other. We're empowered by our connection to the world. We see the context, we see the world turn, we see the light and the dark, the day and the night. The sun's been moving as I've been talking. We are always moving. Sorry, I don't know if you lost me there, but apparently the signal went for a second. But we are here. We are here right now in this world, in this time. What are we doing with that? And I think that's the question we have to hold on to. We are looking at this time of balance. We're looking at the harvest ahead. What harvest do we want? What harvest do we want next year and the year after that? And it's feeling empowered and it's feeling inspired rather than feeling ground down or told to shut up. I think so many of us have been told to shut up for so long. And even this morning, I was getting messages saying it was so great to see pagans on telly. I get this every time I do a public speaking thing. People say it's wonderful to hear a real pagan being taken seriously, because we're all used to being treated like idiots. We're all being treated like nutters and minorities and so forth. But now people see me and talk to me about it in the street, which is miraculous to me. When I'm out doing things in robes, people talk to me and it's really exciting for them, which is fun. And I love it, it's hilarious. But when I'm just walking the dogs or something, to be stopped and chatted to, it's remarkable. Because we are pagans and we are being taken seriously. We are sick people and we are being taken seriously. We might just be on waiting lists like me, but we are still being taken seriously. We support each other, we listen to each other, and we do what we can. You can hear that blackbird, can you? Because he's there every night. I can't see him, but he's out there. This is the thing. The trees are getting on, the birds are getting on, the bees are getting on. And we're in the middle worrying, maybe. But we can do so much with our voices and our songs and our stories. And that's what this festival is about. That's what all the festivals are about to me, is stopping to take that time and make that space for thought and think, okay, where am I now? Where was I last midsummer? Where will I be next midsummer? And yes, I've watched the movie Midsummer and I loved it because I've been to camps like that, just without the really gross stuff. I loved the community in that because that was an extreme version of going to a pagan camp. It's having that community that understands you all around and will feel your pain when you're in pain. And I think we do that, don't we, to some extent? If someone puts on Facebook or Twitter or whatever that they're having a hard time, they will get sympathy. They will get people all gathering round. That's a good thing, surely, isn't it? That's good. I think we have been taught to underestimate the power that we have. And there's people like me who are standing up in robes with sticks and things like that, saying I'm a pagan priest and author. And it helps people to know that I'm here, and it helps to know that people like Arthur are there. We need to step up. We need to hear each other. We need to see each other. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on into the rest of the summer. We've got a little while till harvest yet, and I'm sure the world will change in that time because so much is going on. But I'm still here. You can get me on Facebook Messenger or Twitter Messenger or email or text message or WhatsApp or whatever, you know, technology. There are so many people out there who can help. If I can't, I will put you on to someone who can. But I'll still be here. I've just started a whole new year with students, so I'm going to be getting back into my Druid groove again. I want to be doing more writing. I'm enjoying reading and reviewing because I'm getting sent some really wacky stuff. I'm still standing in my head. I love Elton John. He was probably on drugs when he was singing that, but that's okay. I think we are learning to explore who we are and to not be afraid to ask for help and not be afraid to ask when we don't know something, rather than lash out. And the people who are still scared, I feel quite sad for them, in all honesty. But on the other hand, they can be quite dangerous. So I offer my sympathies up to the point where they're not wanted. I'm not getting into that. There are idiots in every single community, and so it is. But I'm here. I will answer if I can. There's places to go for information. There's so much, and this community is so great, and it can be greater, I think, because if we all step up, it will be amazing. It will be magical. And we will help each other, yes, in the love and light times, but also in the dark and scary times. And that's the thing, isn't it? That's what we have to do. I wish I had answers. Actually, I don't think I do, because they'd probably be wrong, but I feel I've been hearing that Gandalf quote a lot, which is Frodo saying, "Why me?" And Gandalf saying something to the effect of, "All who live in such times will always ask that question." I don't know why we're here now, except that we are, and so we can do. We have our own skills, we have our own stories, we have our own experiences, and they're all part of it. They're part of the pattern. And so joining together in that pattern and feeling the flow, as someone said, and moving with it, stopping the blockages in the flow, which I think have been the cause of all of these problems. Stopping people's voices being heard. I think, let's take those stones out of the water and let things go. Let's see what happens. So, right, enough of that for a second. As you say, someone has said about the light on the magazines. There's the sun. That's what I've been looking at. Sun through the windows. Lens flare. let's go back out and see how the pups are doing. Let's have a look at something pretty. Right. That was my laundry basket. Please don't stop and have a look at it. It's all clean. Right. Here we go. There we are. The sun is a little lower. Those windows are fab, aren't they? I love them. It's a little chilly. I can feel the night starting to come. Oh. That sounds like Ziggy, the dog from down the road. This looks like a puppy, wondering what I'm doing. There we go. Hello, Rags. This is why all the pictures of Rags have a blurry tail, because he's very keen. Hello, Fen. What are you doing? When I need to, I come out here and I sit. When I can get to my little Stonehenge table seat thing. You could sacrifice Aslan on that. Because sometimes the sounds are all you need. You have the sound of an aeroplane in the background, which is unusual. And I hope you can hear the leaves, because the wind in the leaves here is really gorgeous right now. You can see, whereas before we had the leaves through the windows, now we have the windows through the leaves. And I love it. There we go. You can hear people in the distance because we live near a pub. And here he is. Hi! This is my land. This is my bit. And only just for a little bit of time. But I'm here with all of you watching. And this is something we could never have done in years past. Not least because the telephone technology would not have coped with it. We're here in the wild of a small garden. There's the sun. Sun through the leaves. I love it. If I went round to the park right now, that would be a flaming ball against the horizon. But as it is, we can see it. And no matter what, you have that balance. You have the dark and the light. The sun will always rise and shine. The dark will always return for us to have quiet and think and be inspired. I can hear sheep. I can hear baying. So I'm now running out of battery, so I will have to love you and leave you. A very wild small garden, yes. But it works. There's a log up under the tree at the back there which you can't see, and I go and sit on it sometimes and hide. But yeah, it's lovely to see everyone. I will do this again. It racks my nerves, but I do love sincerely seeing everyone, and I cannot wait to see you all at an event in the future, or a visit, or something. I've said to friends, when I see you, there's going to be hugs, and there's probably going to be tears, but in the meantime, I'm just really glad to see everyone here, and I hope my witterings help. So, by the light of the sun, may you be well. And I'm here if I'm needed. Please never feel that you can't get in touch. Know that you're all loved, and my heart feels full just watching all of your lovely messages. It really does. I'm now going to have tea and a biscuit and share with these two. So, big love to you all. Huge love. I'll see you again soon.